They don't accept people to speak freely in Cuba, so they have no right to come here and give their opinions.
Spectrum Today was produced by Askia Muhammad at the United States Capitol. Studio engineering today by Dennis Campbell. I'm Askia Muhammad. 2KNation starts now. Thank you for listening.
Y'all know who it is. Crush Ice in the building. Let's go. Now the radio station you're turned into. If you haven't yet heard, then I give you a clue. It's the one
WPFW, Washington.
Music in between to get the point through. Now the radio station you're turned into. If you haven't yet heard, then I give you a clue. It's the one that talks about social issues, playing high music in between to get the point through. Pay attention, cause I'm about to mention a radio show for the now generation called 2KNation. Out to reach DC, helping local artists to stand up on their feet. We know it's hard to get your voice heard on the street. That's why we're lifting our voice for the community. Social issues and everything that we face. Money, relationship, and yes, still even race. Now the radio station you turned into. If you haven't yet heard, then I give you a clue. It's the one that talks about social issues, playing hot music in between to get the point through. Now the radio station you turned into. If you haven't yet heard, then I give you a clue. It's the one that talks about social issues, playing hot music in between to get the point through.
For you, we never get a word. We're just simple boys and girls in this world. 2KNation, giving us a chance, giving us a glance to the future in our hands, showing that the song can reach out there in this high income community. New generations, as you can see, growing up from little seeds to big trees. Every Thursday from 7 to 8. Listen to us, listen to you as we make a debate. Adults, they always saying no, acting like we're not ordinary people. So just listen, it's something we suggest on 89.3 to the youth we say yes.
Now the radio station you're turned into. If you haven't yet heard, then I give you a clue. It's the one that talks about social issues, playing high music in between to get the point through. Now the radio station you're turned into. If you haven't yet heard, then I give you a clue. It's the one that talks about social issues, playing high music in between to get the point through. Everything in life has a place under the sun. It's time for me to represent for 2KNation. I'm hungry for tracks, but we gotta feed the needy. Bring your peace with me, but I ain't signing a treaty. It's a war going on outside. The streets is a battlefield. Watch your back, people my age, keep weapons concealed. As I look outside my window pane, the sights I see leave me in pain. That I feel in my lower abdomen is saddening. Young people waiting to become statistics and averages. We need to sit down, read some books, scriptures, and passages, cause too many act like primitive savages. We need a revelation like Paul on the road to Damascus, so we can grow and move forward. Poetry is harmony, listen to my vocal cords, cause the pen is mightier than the sword. Tune in every Thursday from 7 to 8.
Good evening and welcome to 2KNation on WPFW 89.3. I'm your host Z, and tonight's show is on our monthly spoken word show. Our guest tonight is the DC Youth Slam team, and right here with me we got their coach, Jonathan Tucker.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, and joining me on the panel is the 2K. Joining me on the 2K panel. Joining me on the panel is the 2KNation staff, Takuria and Keyshawn.
Hey.
Okay, so we would love for you to join in on our discussion by calling 202-588-0893. Once again, that's 202-588-0893. What are your thoughts and questions on this topic? But first, we'll take a quick music break, and when we return, we'll be discussing our topic, which is our monthly spoken word show. Don't forget, you can join us by calling 202-588-0893. Here's your music break.
Shortly after President Obama took office, January 2009, I wrote this rhyme to capture this perspective at that time. November 4, 2008 was the date of the victory that made history. Coming out of cruel centuries with trees bearing strange fruit with bloody suits and gory neckties for black guys despised just because they did the rise for the right to vote, the right to be more than 3/5 of a man. Founding fathers' noble plan had a big hole in it. Many fathers, daughters, mothers, sons were sold in it. The plantation song had a lot of soul in it. Spirit, freedom, struggle, a lot of folks have had a role in it. The motherland has got a lot of gold in it, but this gold, another kind of gold, can't be bought a soul and alienable rights. So we chose to fight, got killed, got jailed, but won the right to vote. Martin Luther King sang, let freedom ring. Barack sang a harmony note. From what I heard him say, power to the people was the message that carried the day. In a different way than Panthers, wish my pops was here to see it. Props to those who paved the way, but don't sleep. There's still stuff shackled and we still need to free it.
Obama say, yes we can change the world with a better plan. We sing, let's be progressive, study Garvey and Nkrumah's plans. We need Pan-Africanism, or our wealth will be in our hands. Community organized, we must create a world more just.
Jeremiah Wright was wrong, but mostly right. Obama spoke right and wrong when race and fairly.
Good evening and welcome to 2K Nation and WPFW 89.3. I'm your host Z, and tonight's show is our monthly spoken word show. Our guest tonight is the DC Youth Slam team, and right now we have their coach Jonathan Tucker. Okay, joining me on the panel is 2K Nation staff Takiria and Keyshawn. So, Jonathan, can you tell us about the DC Youth Slam team?
For sure I can, yeah. DC Youth Slam Team is a program of Split This Rock, a nonprofit organization bringing together activists and poets and elevating the role of the poet in society to speak up about issues of injustice and things going on. And so the DC Youth Slam Team, we got about 10 students from DC, Maryland, and Virginia that represent us at national competitions like Brave New Voices this summer. But we're also putting on this thing this weekend, this Saturday, called Louder Than a Bomb, where we've started slam teams at individual high schools. So just like a high school has a basketball team, why not have a slam poetry team? Mm-hmm. And so we've been going out into the schools after school, starting up these programs, helping kids write their own pieces, and then also write team pieces. And so it's a team competition where every team has to come with 4 to 6 poets, and they have to have a group piece as well.
Oh. So, can you tell us what this Louder Than a Bomb is? Louder
Than a Bomb is the largest youth poetry slam in the world, and that takes place in Chicago. But we're bringing it to D.C. It started in Chicago over a decade ago, and it's been wildly popular out there. They have over 80 schools in Chicago that participate. There was recently a feature film about it, and Oprah featured it on her network. It's a great film. We're actually showing it on June 6th at the Benning Road Library. If people want to come out, the DCU Slam team will perform, and we'll be showing that film. So Louder Than a Bomb is a team poetry competition. And so this is our first year ever doing it in DC. It's a brand new project. We're trying to bring it here, and we're trying to grow it in the schools here around DC. It's going to be this Saturday, June 2nd. It starts at 11 a.m. and it goes all the way till 9:30 p.m. It's an all-day event. We have multiple slams going on, and it's only $5 for the whole entire thing. And yeah, we've been selling tickets online, and we're really excited about it. It's only 2 days away, so all your listeners should come on out and support the youth doing this poetry thing.
Okay, so Mr. Jonathan Tucker, we're going to get back to you, but right now we're about to take a quick music break.
Before the melody shifted, I wasn't tuned in. Lyricist June into this world, complete gift. Before I was American, before colonists came in, I was first civilization. Now a house is not a home. Feel like a visitor in this place for a permanent stay. Dialect a little different, why I talk that way? With a limp in it. Why he walk that way? Prison's highest percentage. Live with the lowest income. No dietitian. Diseases in our systems without unity. Divided community. Solutions, not many conclusions. Another question to debate. Another session. Rappers, actors, politicians, pastors. So many agendas. Separation, classism. What time is it? My class ending in a minute. Teach me nonsense. Tell me make sense with it. Use the drum. Created my own rhythm. History hidden. Independence forbidden. Laws for order. Less power, take orders. Leaders gun down. Now police scream, put the gun down. Theories, conspiracy, 4 centuries left symptoms, syndrome, post-captivity. 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 Sorting out these voices in my head. Musical therapy, writing verses to spread. Fed your psychology ain't curing me. African ideology, ancient mentality. Where I be, paranoia like who's watching me. Stolen legacy, got me wondering what it means to be free. Critically advanced like placement classes. Ready to attack from whiplashes. I black out my windows, locking my doors, sleep one eye closed, looking out for foes, past dark like melanin. Move fast like I'm selling it. Try to slow me down with your medicine. Now diagnose that. Read my evaluation back. What's my condition? Now tell me how to fix it now. Just let me think a little deeper, deeper. Listening of the highest teachers. Kamila. Theories, conspiracy. 4 centuries left symptoms. Syndrome, post-captivity. Theories, conspiracy. 4 centuries left symptoms. Syndrome, post-captivity. Theories, conspiracy. 4 centuries left symptoms, syndrome, post-captivity. Theories, conspiracy, 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 4 centuries left symptoms.
Good evening and welcome to 2KNation and WPFW 89.3. I'm your host Z, and tonight's show is our monthly spoken word show. Our guests tonight are from the DC Youth Slam team, and on the panel joining me today is Takiria and Keyshawn. We would love for you to join in on our discussion by calling 202-588-0893. What are your thoughts and questions on this topic? So, can you guys introduce yourself?
I'm Eric Powell, a.k.a. E.L.P.J, and I'm part of the DC Youth Slam poetry team.
I'm Jessie, and I'm a senior at Washington Lee High School. I'm going to be competing with my school in Louder Than a Bomb.
I'm Asha. I go to Woodrow Wilson Senior High School. I'm a junior, and I will also be competing with my school's team at Louder Than a Bomb.
Okay, so I hear that you guys have some poems, so do y'all want to read them?
Yeah, sure. You want to go first, Asha, or?
I mean, you can go.
Alright, Friday night, headed home from the club. Highway life, embedded chrome on my dubs. Put lime and Bud Light. I guzzed a few suds. But I'm alright, I only got a little buzz. Okay, I lied, I'm underage and I'm drunk. Red and blue lights, dang, that must be the fuzz. I pulled to the right, no longer with my windows up. In my face he shined a light, and what he said was, "Son, have you been drinking and driving?" I was thinking of replying, but my mouth said, "What?" He told me to step out my car, walk in the line, and by the time I was done, my wrist was in cuffs. Had me piss in the cup at the department, and I was in trouble because they found alcoholic content in my blood. Now I got a police record, and I reckon it'll be harder to get a job because they'll think I'm a thug. Put me in a room with 3 walls, a window, and a mat, plenty of bars. Well, that's ironic, isn't that? They said they sent me back to a courthouse and I got out in jail in a few days, when in fact I had to pay the fine of my bail. I was mad cause it was money that I didn't have. They laughed and said, you should have thought of that when you was taking shots from a glass. Dag, Scenario 2, riding through the town with my crew, fooling around, drinking brew as we do, 90 on the avenue. Had I knew what would happen at that longitude and latitude, I would have stayed home and wouldn't have made that a move. Alas, we was getting too fast music. We listened to blast as we drive on the right like it was Britain or France. Had me thinking the ass while we had driven like Taz. When in a flash, I had a collision and crashed. All I envisioned was black within shizzles from glass that boasted lip in the gas cause my decisions were bad. Woke up in the hospital. It was visitors I had with my sister and my dad, who told me that the homies that was with me had passed. Now when people ask if I want to take a hit at the glass, I visualize they bodies as they was hitting the glass. Flipping scenario 3, that could have been me. Not locked up on an infirmary, I'm DEAD. What would be my legacy? What is it that they were saying me? Would they tell my brothers not to behave like me? In the ER, what memories would flash? Think I want another shot at life? Another shot at the glass? I think I'll pass. That's one.
Oh, that was good.
That was real good.
That was really good.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. So, Asia, you want to go?
Sure. I'll spit a piece. Let's see. I wonder, did he ever tell you how his arms fit perfectly into the arch of my back when he held me, or how he would melt into pieces by just one look into my eyes, sister? Do you ever taste the remnants of my strawberry chapstick lingering in the cracks on his lips, because that's where our history lies, and something about me is a little bit more permanent, those lips? Did everything from love me to hurt me? I remember when we first met like it was yesterday. We were both young and naive, but I've always been a little bit more seasoned, so I shaped him. Turned a 16-year-old linebacker black boy into a cultured young black man. I raised him. Held him like a mother on those days when tears stung like a million shards of glass pushing their way through his eyelids. I knew his story like the back of my hand, and he knew mine too. So I wonder, did he ever tell you about the time he had to fight his father like they were equals, got kicked out of the house and had to stay with his mother? Did he ever tell you that he doesn't even like her, or do you know why? Do you know that I spent more hours telling him to love her than to love me? Because I can only imagine my son. A life that I've cracked through these hips, leaving me to myself for the rest of eternity without one I love you, not even a hello. All I'd ever get were goodbyes. Did he ever tell you how many times I stood by him when he was wrong? Something about being cheated on over 5 times with the same girl makes your skin a little tougher while somehow making you more susceptible to accusation, because if he's doing it, you gotta be doing it too, right? Did he ever tell you Did he ever tell you about our first kiss? How he stood on my front porch like a barricade and said, I'm not letting you get away this time. And the sun hit our 2 bodies perfectly around noon through my mother's crepe myrtle blossoms, and for the first time in his life, time stopped. There was only an us, floating somewhere in oblivion to the tune of Maroon 5 and Eminem. Did he ever tell you the reason he broke up with me started with you? Who knew that a 90-minute choir class period could become a defining moment in my class? Did you ever see me with bloodshot eyes, tired from crying, but if I ever stopped, the ill thought of him would weigh me down like a ton of brick in the ocean and make me paralyzed because my knees had grown tired of making friends with the ground, and you didn't even have respect for me woman to woman, let alone as a human being, when you kissed him right next to my face. Can I tell you something, sister? You are extremely fortunate and even more lucky that I have control of my anger, because the angry chick inside of my head was ready to rearrange a hairline, but my God says everything will happen in due time, and let me tell you how my God works. It's 1 year later, and I am the happiest I have ever been without him, so I wonder, does he ever tell you about our recent long late-night conversations when he'll say things like, I miss you. I'm still in love with you. I wish she was a little bit more like you. I thought I told you I was a little bit more permanent. To my advantage, he isn't.
She went in on that chick.
Okay, Jesse, you have one?
Yeah, sure. Let me see. All right. I fell in love with a boy today. Today, a boy I do not know. Today I fell in love with a boy for all the right reasons. I know that sounds strange, since they told us that right reasons type love is supposed to come from knowing, but I fell in love today with a boy who I do not know, and was for all the right reasons. With deep, empty-seeming eyes, he looked down and along and against the platform's tiled floor. He looked sad. Do you know that sad is a direction you can look in, just like down and along and against? Only more specific, 'cause it's lined with black and gray tiles and blank faces and ends in a vast emptiness. Today, his clothes looked mismatched. He looked broken, in the way that down-looking, mismatched people do. But then he looked up, and I saw that his deep eyes were full of sky, weeds pushing up through cracks in the sidewalk, broken glass and sunshine, saw that he was looking above, and beneath and through and within and wise. He opened his downturned lips to show teeth that smiled. He spoke out towards the metro rail to no one in particular, in a low, easy voice that I nearly confused with laziness. He spoke a song, soft against the black and gray tunnel for no one in particular, but I heard. And it spoke of what was above and beneath and through and within. It was wise. Now, if I had approached him, my love would have broken against a wisdom I could not understand, been lost against a mismatched body I would have forgotten how to see through. So when the train came screaming, I stepped in. I stood before the doors as they closed, as the train stretched away and the platform blurred. The boy remained, still and clearly defined, closing his downturned lips and making his smile invisible, watching with his deep, full eyes. I fell in love today with a boy who I do not know, not for his mismatched clothes and downturned lips in spite of his shaky brokenness. I fell in love today. For the first time, I fell in love with a boy for the right reasons. For the content and direction of his eyes, the heft of his words. Now I see wisdom in the eyes of lost-looking people everywhere.
Whee!
Wow. That was deep.
That was swag.
Yeah. Alright, so before Jonathan Tucker left, he forgot to tell where the Bomb Slam is going to be.
Alright, so this Saturday, June 2nd, Louder Than a Bomb Slam will be held at the George Washington University Marvin Center. That's on 800 21st Street Northwest in Washington, D.C. It's near the Foggy Bottom GW Metro station.
And it's from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh, okay. So, what got you into writing poetry?
Well, Jonathan came and did a workshop actually with a different group that I was a part of that called the Buckingham Youth Brigade, and we did a lot of work advocating for the needs of immigrant youth in our community. And he came and presented poetry. You know, before I'd sort of thought of poetry as something, I guess, very academic, very literary, not very relevant, I guess. But he came and talked about poetry as a tool for community activism, as a tool for community organizing. And so that's sort of how I got interested in it. I was after that workshop, and I started coming to open mics in the city, started getting involved, volunteering for the team.
Cool beans. I actually started writing my own songs. So I would sing, and I would write and record my own music. And I was in this summer program, and they told me to write a poem. And I was like, okay, so write a song and speak it. So I did, and it was good, I guess. So then my mom is the librarian at my high school. So she was talking to us. She was like, you guys should start a poetry team. Do this. So I was like, all right, let's write poems. And John came in, and he was like, let me hear your piece. So I did my only two spoken word pieces I had ever written. And I didn't even know they were called spoken word yet. So he was like, oh, come to Baloo tonight. And I was like, tonight? Like right now? He was like, be there by 4:30. Baloo is like 30 minutes away from my school. So my mom and I were like rushing to get there. And then once I got there, he stalled for me, which was awesome. And from there, I've just been writing poems ever since.
Eric, real quick. We got a caller on the line, so.
I bet.
Hello, caller.
Yes, thank you for your program, and I enjoyed the first two pieces. I just wanted to say very quickly that I enjoy the poetry of the young people in the slam, and that's because it gives a person, an older person, who's on the other side of the bridge, so to speak, it gives them a snapshot into the lens inside the soul of that young person. And inside that soul, there'd be much more maturity than we see on the outside. For example, just walking down the street and seeing a person walk by, excuse me, and being prejudicial as I've been always in many instances in my life. Oh, just another roughneck or thug or hottie or whatever you call it. But this gives me an extraordinary brief relationship to see what really is inside the soul of that young person. And it may be maturity beyond even my old years. And I respect that because there's so much surface adulation, social media, and all this other nonsense. It detracts from the creativity and the vision of the young people that would be needed today, right now, to carry the torch into a new generation.
Thanks, caller.
You made a lot of good points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, poet.
We got another caller, so you guys are pretty popular.
That works.
Caller, welcome to 2KNation.
Hi, this is Lauren. I'm on the team.
Hey.
Hi, Lauren.
I wanted to tell them that they're amazing and I love them.
We love you too.
We love you too.
And I miss you, and I'll see you guys Saturday. So,
see you Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday. Everybody come louder than the bomb. GW, Marvin Center, Foggy Bottom Station. Don't forget, be there. Yeah.
Okay. Lauren.
Yes.
Would you like to do a poem?
Poetic heist in the house.
Don't think you're gonna get away either.
Sure, I guess. Cool. How times have changed since I was young. All the things I've lived through, outgrown, and said goodbye to, you're quick to say I'm still a child. But I have my own civil rights to speak of, my own movements. I remember watching a second plane hit and wondering if action movies happen in real life. See, now that the Rugrats are all grown up, you call it bullying. Who remembers gymnastics? And how long before you forget Trayvon Martin or the look you gave your spouse when you heard about Sean Bell, when vote or die was fashionable, when someone finally said that being rich is just as common sense, when everybody was 99%, when a 12-year-old girl forced you to occupy something with nothing but a tent and a backpack full of hopes for something better, when the world stopped to look at the man in the mirror, when reality said, Michael won't live forever, when Bernie said his last joke and Whitney sang her last song, I will always love you, I can tell my children. That was at the first African-American presidential inauguration. How cold, but bittersweet the air was, watching my grandmother's hand shake hallelujah like holding free land. She whispered, the work has only begun, and I wonder what God she loves. Now that I'm old enough to pick meditation over church, I've seen more bodies on the backs of T-shirts and in hallways than my parents. I'm more human than superhero, and I hate them for it. But I love the woman that made me.
Good.
Shout out to Poetic Heist. Yeah.
Have a beautiful show, and I love everybody. And shout out to 2KNation because y'all are tight and y'all doing y'all thing.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you guys a question. What is your inspiration? Like, it's so many things that go on around you, and I know it's stressful in high school and stuff like that. So what is your inspiration to keep doing and motivate yourself on what you're doing?
Well, I think we all just have we get the motivation just from like the love of the art. That's the main thing. And I think when you have love for something that you're doing, you're going to do it regardless of like anything that's in your way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like school, all this other stuff. Trust me, I've been mad busy, but like I've been trying to make way for like my music and my poetry and all that. And so you just gotta
prioritize.
Yeah, prioritize and just know where your head's at and do what you gotta do. So.
Yeah. I would say for me, because I didn't come to poetry like originally out of like, oh, because it's this art, I now have come to love it that way. But I think my primary motivation is maybe more related to what that first caller was talking about. I feel like a lot of times there's trouble relating between generations, between people of different races, of different neighborhoods, different schools, whatever. And so I'm motivated by what I see as like the power of this art and of our sort of coming together in these spaces to do this art, to bring people together and to build understanding between people who are so different from each other. And that's what keeps me doing it even when I feel like I don't have anything to write about or like my writing isn't that good, whatever. It really is about the community for me.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There. The thing that keeps me writing. I've learned that our generation is afraid to speak up for things that they don't like or that don't settle with them. So instead of like doing something about it, like teenagers back in like the 60s, 70s would, like, they don't stand up for anything. They just accept it. And when you accept something, it becomes a norm. So it no longer becomes a problem. So when new problems develop, you're just screwed. So there's no one to speak for these problems. So like as a poet, like I feel like that's something I took on, and that's what keeps me writing, like to make sure that my message gets out.
Right.
All right, so we're about to go to a quick music break, and we'll be back with 2K Nation. Good evening and welcome to 2KNation and WPFW 89.3. I'm your host, Z, and tonight's show is our monthly spoken word show. Our guests tonight are the members from the DC Youth Slam team, Eric, Jesse, and Asia. Joining me on the panel from the 2KNation staff is Takiria.
Hey.
We would love for you to join our discussion by calling 202-588-0893. What are your thoughts or questions on the topic? Alright, so, Eric, you didn't get to answer the last question, so why did you start writing?
Well, I'm actually an MC, a rapper, and I first, I came home, one day from school because I was sick and all that, and, I got out late from music class and all that, and we were practicing, the Star Spangled Banner. This was, in 5th grade or something like that. And so, I was just laying in the bed looking at the clock because I was sick and all that, so I ain't had nothing to do. And I was just thinking about the song and how it was real hypocritical and all that. I was like, land of the free, home of the brave. Well, wasn't black people slaves back then? Hold up. And then the Native Americans, nah, that song ain't right. And so I thought of a rhyme that went with it. And I've always loved music and hip hop and all that. And so I was like, land of the free and home of the brave. So said the whites, but the African slave. And I had 5 of the different variations of that rhyme, but that was the main rhyme. And so after that, I was like, I should be a rapper. and so I went to one of the other members of the team named Kosi. Shout out to Kosi. He was going to this open mic that they was having over at Buzz Boys and Poets on 5th and K. And so that was my first time performing. Cause I had gone there to see him perform and maybe do something myself, but he actually didn't show up to that one. And so I ended up doing, one of my songs, only I did in a spoken word fashion. And so, yeah, then JT was there. He was the host, and that's kind of how it happened. And I started doing poetry a little bit too, so.
So who wants to start off with another poem?
Asha? I can do another one.
Okay, Asha with another poem.
So this piece is called Young Boy. It speaks on the LTGB community. I think that's the right acronym.
It's okay.
Okay. But yeah, so it speaks on that. Whatever. Called Young Boy. All right. Young boy, I see you with your corded smile. Afraid of a world that's afraid of your style. Taken aback by the way you say please and thank you, or is it because you walk that way? You know, with that little sway, they've all decided to disregard your evident gentlemanship and put you on this billboard labeled proud. Not because you were woven along with kings and queens in a web made of grandmama's kinks and coils, the threads of knowledge leaking from a well-seasoned chocolate woman that knows trial and error better than any of us in this era ever know. Not because she taught you how to be black, but for the simple fact that you'd rather hold hands with Roy G. Biv than lay your body down with some female and hope for some kids. I can see you, ready to step out of your skin. 'Cause in a world of black and white, showing your bones is the only way to fit in. Maybe if they see that you bleed like them, they'll stop treating you like less of a human. Like you belong in this cage with gay tattooed on your face. They'd rather have a picture of you with your fist balled up, wiping away tears than held high in your power stance, fighting for those who fought for you after all of these years, and they forcefully replaced your idols. Your Oprah with Ellen, Duke Ellington with Elton John, Lady Day with RuPaul, Langston Hughes with Oscar Wilde. Ain't it wild how someone can hold prejudice against a child? Brainwash you into thinking that all you will ever be is a menace to society because even in your own home, young boy, you must hide if you decided to be. Now, siblings remain blind to homosexuality. Little Johnny sits at the dinner table in his own deafening silence because he can't register what happened to him today. You see, his teacher asked him to stay a little while longer for some extra credit work, but he didn't know that he learned the meaning to the word fellatio, and it's because of you that he couldn't even see this academic discrepancy. Now, please, before you tie that electric cord noose, young boy, please think again. I know of you, whoever they is, will always have a skewed depiction, and only you can teach them otherwise. Because when you're in the darkness of ignorance, education will act as your only light. Good job.
Wow. Anyone else?
Yeah, sure, I'll go in.
Alright.
This is a piece I did called What You Mixed With. I'm pretty sure you've been asked this question before, if you black. And the piece kind of speaks for itself, so I'm gonna just go in. Alright. It's one of the many questions asked of a modern day adolescent descendant of a people enslaved, oppressed, and taught to hate themselves, as usually by other modern day adolescent descendants of a people enslaved, oppressed, and taught to hate themselves. What you mixed with? With my dirt yellow skin color that I inherited from my mother, lamb wool hair, full lips, and dark brown stare, I say, nothing, I'm black. She tells me, stop lying, your hair is too good for that. And I'm like, I don't think hair texture should be described as good or bad. Especially not when the one classified as bad is the same exact one you happen to have. See, most people find this question to be harmless, but to be honest, I find it to be the garments that clothe self-hatred. Not because you mentioned the ancestors of other races. That may be the case. It's just the way you say it and ask it makes it seem like you're denying your blackness. Shaking your butt and tapping for the masses, putting on a mask, thinking it's hiding your madness, but you'll soon come to realize that the pigment that shades in the rest of you isn't one that matches. It's like Ali changing his name to Cassius is backwards. Since we the creator's first children, we've forgotten. Does that make us bastards? Through the practice of a wag vision of what the Christian religion is in the white supremacist system, we were often cast as, from Catholics to Baptists, Satan's minions. While whites were depicting themselves as Jesus, God, and faithful witnesses, the masses of slaves were the masses on Sundays, were passed on being black was a sin, and over time this was indoctrinating into the minds of the slave children. Take a mulatto child, put him in the kitchen, teach him that he's better because he's lighter. Now that's Willie lynching. What's going on these plantations is the experimentation that includes the raping of your foremothers. So before you brag about your so-called good hair and your light skin, just know it's a slight chance that the white man's genes is in yours because he molested your great-great-grands, and don't think you safe because part of them is in you. Because if you don't at least look 100% white, you're viewed as a NIGGER2. It's a one-drop rule. So we straighten our hair, lighten our skin, get surgery on our nose and lips, our butts we bust, just to conform with a society that will never love us for us. Taught my little sister to be proud of who she was. That's why I pity her when she asked me, EJ, why are white girls prettier? Try to tell her that she's beautiful and that all people are, but I'm discouraged when I see it turning the character to blonde on Pop Tropica. The westernized standard of beauty runs rampant in the movies, media, shows, commercials, videos, and all of those. I feel the need to break these old fallacies. Black people, what does it take to realize our kinky curly hair symbolizes spiral galaxies? Our different shades represent different realities. Wait, hold up. Was that too metaphysical for y'all? Dang, well, let me offer up some more tangible examples. What you mix with is not a question the police ask when they pull you over for being black, plan on your person crack, imprison you or shoot you in the back. When you walk into that courtroom for something you ain't do, and you get on death row, and the white person who come in after you gets 6 months, you think they knew, or rather gave one, that you was only half black? A white lady hold the person a little tighter when you walk by her. Why, bruh? Don't she know I'm like the 16th white like her? I ain't a fan of no politicians, but after seeing how them white conservatives act, even Obama fell down on the census that he was just black. Now, I know some come from a mixed heritage. It was a result of true love. Acknowledge that. All I'm trying to say is never be ashamed to say that you black. That's it.
That was good.
That's fine. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. This is the first poem that I ever wrote in the workshop that Jonathan came and did. Yeah. All right. If I could be a mango, I would be contenta. Looking out over the campo where I was born, I would grow strong through my green hard youth. Enjoy the sweetness of my soft golden teenage years. I could stay out in the rain like how I want. Abuela no me podría gritar entonces, que me echara pa' dentro, que iba a coger gripe. No. My grandmother couldn't yell at me to go back inside then. Not if I could be a mango. I would dance all the windy nights, watch every star. But what I wouldn't like? See, the boys, they could mess with me all they want. Y no me podría poner enojada, volverles a gritar. 'Cause see, I couldn't talk back. Not if I was a mango and someday they would come and take me. I wouldn't have any choice. Stupid boys with their stones would knock me down, bruise me, eat me. I wouldn't blame them, though. They'd take me to see the world, those boys. Out of the campo where I was born, down a mountain, around a block, but when they would finish, me tirarían al suelo. See, I wouldn't blame them. Stupid boys. And I wouldn't blame the mangy dog either that would pick me up off the ground, carry me across town. See, I've always wanted to travel. If I could be a mango, bruised, beaten, eaten, someday I'd get dropped. Cerca del río on the other side of town. And you know, I wouldn't let it get to me. All the things those boys and that dog put me through, I would remember my sweet childhood days. And I would start to grow. My roots would go deep, my branches tall, but, mija, you know the one thing I would hate? Someday watching all my daughters fall.
That poem was exotic. Okay, so we have a caller. Hey caller, welcome to 2KNation.
Hi, thank you very much. Yeah, I was just calling in, didn't really necessarily want to be on the air, but the guy who did the poem before the young lady who did the poem on the mango, I just wanted to let him know that that was truly phenomenal. I'm driving home, and I rolled down my window and turned up the radio, so not only that I could hear it, but everybody else around me could hear it too. And I'd like to know if that's printed anywhere or if there's any way somebody could get a copy of that, because that was awesome.
Oh, well, I want to start off by saying thank you. I really appreciate that. And Eton Thomas, you know, the basketball player, he has a book coming out called Voices of the Future, and it's actually one of the poems that's going to be in there. So if you check out that book, then you can find it.
Voices of the Future. You know when it'll be out?
Nah, I don't know what time it'll be out, but just keep it in front of your mind and you'll find it.
No, but also if you check out facebook.com/DCYouthSlam, that's our team's Facebook page, and since Eric's one of our team members, you can find him there. You can find like more of our poems there, and I'm sure hear that poem again or eventually get a copy of it.
Facebook.com DCYouthSlam
/DCYouthSlam, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I see a policeman coming. I got to get off the phone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we have another caller. Caller, you are on the air. Welcome to 2KNation. Caller?
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, yes. So I just going to trail on what the last caller called in about the poem. It was phenomenal. I'm going to say the exact same words I wanted to know. I got the information, and the young man did a beautiful job in describing. I mean, if I don't know how old is this young man, because
thank you.
I mean, I thought your generation, well, not your generation, but kids were lost about that, because I mean, I grew up in the '60s. And I had the same thoughts about the way I looked and my lips when I rode the DC Transit at myself and questioning why, folding my lips under because I didn't want them to seem so big. But it was phenomenal, and I'm glad I got information. But keep up the good work. You guys are great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
All right. So we got one more caller. That is okay. Caller, welcome to 2KNation. You are on the air.
Hi, I just wanted to tell the whole poetry panel that you all sound really good. Your poems are really nice. But I had a question for the panel, actually, for Z, Takiria, and I think it's Deshawn, Kayshawn. I just wanted to know, now that you all know about the Poetry Slam, are you guys going to mention this to your school? Are you going to let them know, or did you already know about it? Because I haven't heard anything until I turned to this radio station. So I was just wondering, are you guys going to, promote this at your school?
First of all, I want to say hi, Mom. And yes, I'm going to tell my school, Thurgood Marshall, about this because this is a great opportunity because, like she said, we don't get a chance to express ourselves. And 9 times out of 10, we more so don't want to express ourselves, afraid of what's going to happen of you expressing yourself. So, yes, I'm going to tell my school to do the poetry slam.
Okay, what about Z? What about Kayshawn?
I'm gonna tell my school because I know at my school people like to act like they're big and bad, but it's some people there that write poetry, they just don't want to come out about it. So to get them in an environment where they know it's cool to write poetry, it's a positive. So
sweet.
Keyshawn,
you guys keep up the good work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, curious mom. Okay. We have one more caller. Okay, caller, you are on the air. Welcome to 2KNation.
Hello, is that me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, how are you all?
Good.
Hi. Thank you for your creativity and your gifts, and just be encouraged, okay? And make this world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. All right, so we have a question. So what poets do y'all read or that inspired y'all?
Okay, I don't want to start listing poets because I'm going to miss some, and that's not cool. Who I do read, but I guess in particular I read poets who I feel like had a specific social focus to their writing. I guess a few I really like Sonia Sanchez, Sandra Cisneros, but there are a lot, and I don't want to just start listing them. But I think I mostly read poets who have sort of a social focus to their writing.
Yeah, I was I grew up on Nikki Giovanni and Langston Hughes. That's all my mom would read us and hey, listen to this. So that's what I do.
All right.
I actually don't pick up a lot of influence from spoken word artists, but I mean other than cats like Jill Scott Heron, Gil Scott Heron. Wow, I always say Jill Scott Heron. My bad. R.I.P. Peace to him. I say, but I mean, I had a lot of influence from rappers and MCs like Nas, KRS-One, Rakim, AZ. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of old school and a lot of new cats too, like Kendrick Lamar and Schoolboy Q. All them cats, they dope. And so, I just try to pick up influence from anything, whether it be music or, poetry or anything like that.
That's cool, because, I get inspired by music to write poems and stuff. All right, Takira, you got a question?
Yes. What can you say, ever since you started doing poetry, can you say that this has made a great impact on people younger than you, or, people around your age, being in school and stuff like that? Can you say that doing poetry has made an impact on people around you?
Yeah. Around my school, the first time they had ever heard spoken word, most of these kids, was at a talent show that I was supposed to sing in, but I lost my voice that morning, so all I could do was talk. So my teacher was like, what can you do? So I was like, I have a poem. She was like, are you good? Are you sure you can do this? And when I did the piece, it was called Gardenias and Lilies. That was the first time my school had ever been completely silent. The feeling of being one person on a stage and making 1,700 kids be quiet is the most empowering thing in the world. Right. But after that, they were like, what is that thing? What is that called? I know it's a poem, but what do you do? People don't get up on stage and speak things like that. So, ever since then, I think it helped instill a sense of culture. Right. In the students in my school. And I keep doing it, and I encourage people to come out to the events, to join our poetry club, so they can expand themselves outside of the classroom information.
So
I would say I can speak more to how it's impacted me than how it's impacted other people. I've definitely brought some people from my school into spoken word who, at my school, same thing. Like, no one really knew what spoken word was. I recruited a lot of people. A bunch of them are competing with me this Saturday in Louder Than a Bomb. One of them is also on the DC Youth Slam team with us. But I would say more so for me, in terms of it, just meeting people who I wouldn't otherwise have met, making friends who I would not otherwise have.
All right, so can y'all give us that contact information again about the Louder Than a Bomb and how the audience can get in touch with y'all?
All right, so to find out more about the DC Youth Slam team, you should come to facebook.com/DC Youth Slam or follow us on Twitter @DC Youth Slam. This Saturday, June 2nd, is the Louder Than a Bomb competition. It's featuring 12 local high schools, and it's at George Washington University's Marvin Center. That's 800 21st Street Northwest, near the Foggy Bottom Metro. It's from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. But if you just go on Facebook to our Facebook page, there's information about it there. You can find it there. Or to LTABDMV, that's LTABDMV.tumblr.com.
Okay. So we want to thank you guys again, Eric, Jesse, and Asia. And we also want to thank our staff, Takiria, Mike, Abdul, and Diamond. Put to a break.
Shout outs.
My soul is